All right. Hey, happy Sunday, everybody. I am live. Dome Monica Media coming at you. Another snowy Sunday here in Chicago. Today, I wanted to cover the what is going on with Candace Owens and this civil war that's happening with TPUSA. And I just really, it's just so, I've been watching it. I'm kind of enthralled by it. And so, what I think is really important, I do a lot of deep dives. I spend a lot of time on Twitter. I spend a lot of time on YouTube. And there's a lot of stories out there. And there's a lot of, I think, misinformation, agendas, and rumors. And then there are facts. So in today's live, and I hope you guys can pop in and join and say hi in the chat if you do join, because I think it's going to be a fun one today. And I want to have fun. But here's how I'll start it. Do you remember the Tower of Babel? The Tower of Babel was essentially people that were trying to build like an apparatus to heaven. And it was God scrambled their communication, and he scrambled their communication to cause confusion. And I think that's exactly what we have going on today with this Candace Owens story. So if you are not aware of the latest, I'm going to bring you up to kind of what happened between an invite to go to have a essentially a showdown, and then we'll cover some different reactions to it, and again set some facts, and we'll have a fun time. So leave your comments. Let's get interactive. Let's have fun on this Sunday. And before we get started, if you guys like this content, you're having a lot of fun, I would love you to subscribe. And even more so, I now offer memberships to my channel. So if you're so inclined, I would love it. Really, really helps me grow. All right. So let me just get sharing with the screen here so we can have a good discussion. All right. Let me move this a minute. Bear with me, guys. All right. Here we go. Oh, good. I think it is working. Does it look clear? Everybody, if you're in the chat, tell me whether this looks clear or not. I don't know if it does or it doesn't. Let me move this a little bit. Let's see. Hold on. Can you see that? All right. I'm going to try that again, but let me just level set for you. So what ended up happening was, if you've been watching Candace Owens, she has been talking about the Charlie Kirk murder since it happened. She has been solely focused on it. She's talking about a lot of different threads and things like that. Some of it, is somewhat reasonable, and some of it I don't understand at all. And she's really gunning for the guys at Turning Point USA. So earlier this week, Blake Neff from Turning Point USA basically decided to take it head on, and he decided to invite her to a live stream. He sent that invite out on like midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning a few days ago. And Candace, if this was like her whole deal, the question is, did she back out or did she accept? Again, confusion, because she kind of gave a half answer. And I don't know if any of you guys saw this or not, but basically she said, well, I can't do it that day. TPS USA wanted her to come. Hey, hello there from, where are you from? Thanks for joining. Hi. TPS USA wanted her to come in person, and Candace basically said, well, I can't do it that day, but we can live stream it. So it was a little bit of a half-assed, answer. And again, how serious is Candace? That's the question. Sell me your feet videos? I don't have any of those. Can you see my feet? I hope my feet aren't showing. I'm going to try to share the screen again, because I've got a bunch of clips and things like that that I prepared for everybody. So tell me if you could see the screen like in a good way. Let's try to change the layout. Oh, wait, can you? Oh, wait, hang on. All right. Wait, sorry, this is my first live. Bear with me, guys. Stop the screen. I'm going to try this again. Share screen window. Here we go. Share. Oh, okay, I did it. Yay. All right, so this is going to be a better live stream now that I got the technology. It took me all day to get this technology going. Oh, the feet videos is really seriously weird. Hey, hi, Apple Hernandez 565. Welcome. Hi, Paya Chanda 6348. Welcome. Hi, Francisco. I'm not selling you anything from my feet videos. There are no feet videos. I don't know what you're talking about. So forget that. Anyway, yeah, tell me where you guys are from. And if you, we're going to have fun today. So, anyway, let me share with you exactly what Blake Neff said. So I think you guys can see this. I'm going to kind of move the screen over a little bit so I can see it. So Blake Neff says, yesterday we made it clear that we would be scheduling a formal response to the allegations and accusations you have made. He's speaking directly to Candace here. We've decided that the response will be delivered during a live stream on December 15th. He kind of just like decided that. I will give that to Candace. Again, confusion. There's like two different stories here, but I'm going to lay it out for you and I think give you what I think is the straight dope because again, there are a lot of agendas. So thank you for your response, letting us know you will not be joining the in-person conversation. We will be proceeding without you is what Blake said. Candace has said, kind of weird you didn't email me or call me. Why am I learning this live on X? So, there's a lot of different opinions on did she accept or did she not accept? Again, if you're sitting there for 3 months talking about nothing but Charlie Kirk, I know I would. And when you say anytime, any place, I think that the take legitimately is you're going to move heaven and earth to be there. Remember, this is her friend. This is what she's solely been focused on. Supposedly her life is in danger. She did have that story, going. And, so, okay. On the other hand, you guys, I mean, maybe a live stream is somewhat reasonable. But what I think is kind of what I want to do is, and then somebody who I think is like very, very legit is Patrick Bet-David. So we're going to do a little bit of a review of PBD and what he had to say about it. And again, I think he's a straight shooter. I've vetted PBD a lot. I do a lot of vetting with all of the media sources and people that I get to know in the media. And I vetted PBD quite thoroughly in just the true Doe Monica media way of vetting people. And I like PBD. So here's what he had to say. And by the way, I've got to move the window a little bit because I can't really see the chat. Trying to get better at this. It's my first live. Hey, before I do that, hey, Carrie Morse. Oh, you're from Kolkata. Oh, where's that? Oh, Kolkata. Kolkata. Am I saying that correctly? So great. All right. Let's look at what PBD kind of his take on it. Ready? Let this rip. Here's his response.
Yes, take me anywhere, anytime, any place. Provide security. We would fund security for Candace. We would send our team and, maybe, whoever she wants that we would fund it to say, here's security, 20 people. What is it going to cost? We'll fund it for you. Go there to feel safe.
Yeah,
she's right. She needs to feel safe. She should. But at the same time, to me, if this is like, there's a part of me that's like, go with the Macron story, right? Go with the Macron story. Tom, what is that? Does that have to do with the story or? No, I was just, okay. So go with the Macron story. So with the Macron story, there's a part of it that you're interested in the Macron story, right? Where it's like, I want to know. Okay, let's keep going.
Yeah, okay. So I'll stop here for a second. So basically what he's saying, guys, and PPD, again, I think he's like, a really good source is Candace is an absolute genius. And one of my friends, Jesse on Fire, who is a great creator, and I'm going to recommend that you follow him, and we'll get to that in a little bit. She's really good at stirring it up, getting people interested, weaving a story that, like he's saying with the Macron story, hey, I want to find out what happens. And so she's been able to create this tension by going after the TPUSA guys. I kind of like to call them TPUSA for fun. TPUSA guys, TPUSA, where you want to know. And I think a lot of the world wants to see this showdown. Oh, FIFA gave Tyler Trump. Hi, Lauren. Let me read your what you're saying here. Pfeiffer gave Tyler Trump his very own special big boy medal for being the most grown up young man in town. Okay. Not really sure. Okay. Fun to share. No problem. Anyway, so, she's been really, really good at that. But I think that if you're going to vet somebody and listen, and, PBD has been very, very good. But I want to move on to some of the other narratives that are happening because of this whole story outside of PBD. So that I think would be my first thing is if you're going to listen to somebody, PBD is pretty solid. The one that I wanted to go with next is, so Tim Pool. And if you guys didn't hear this in the last 24 hours, apparently there was a shooting incident outside of Tim Pool's home yesterday. And so, but Tim Pool, the backstory is a couple weeks ago, Candace called him a fence sitter. And, I have a nickname for Tim Pool. I call him Tim Pool the Tool. He's never been high on my list, but tell me what you think about his reaction. So let me go to Tim. In my bookmarks, I've got Tim. Okay, hold on. I got to make this a little bit different here. Okay, so he kind of had some harsh words for Candace. And let's going to let this one rip. Ready?
Yeah, ridiculous. No one hates Charlie more than Candace Owens. Let me say that very, very clearly. I want to say it straight to the camera for all of her biggest fans, and then she can grab this clip and put it on her show. I do think it's absolutely hilarious that we're substantially smaller shows than hers, but she brought us up anyway. So thanks for saying my name, Candace. No one hated Charlie Kirk more than Candace Owens. She reviles him, she spits on his grave, and she smiles while doing it.
Wow.
Okay, quote.
That's pretty big. That's pretty big. So, like I said, there is a little bit why. Let me see what's coming across in the chat. Why do liberals use guns on people? So yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, I like that. Cole Olds, welcome to the chat. Where are you coming from? I'm from Chicago, everybody. We're sitting in Chicago. I don't know if you can see. You probably can't see, but we got another snow today. So it's a cold December Sunday. Anyway, so Tim Pool says this about Candace. For the record, I'll tell you my thoughts on Candace. I'm getting that she carried a torch for Charlie vibes. Those are the vibes I'm getting. Frankly, I think that she maybe has a jealousy, kind of a jealousy vibe going on with Erica Kirk. That's just the vibe I'm getting. But she and Tim Pool have had like this outrage for a while. And so he doesn't like this. Okay. But on the other hand, here's another thing that Tim Pool did. There's a reason why I call him Tim Pool the Tool. And thank God for George Santos. So I'm going to share with you the next part of what I grabbed from Tim Pool. He had Milo on yesterday. Milo Yiannopoulos, saying his last name wrong, but he said some horrible things about Charlie, and we're going to listen to it. Ready?
I was a couple of days behind watching on the show because I've got stuff going
Listen.
on. But somebody tweeted today that Candace said that she believed that they were about to get a divorce. I think he was gay. I think he was gay. And come on, you know that I've criticized. What? Like I'm sorry, Tim, but like, why would you even go there? Like to say something like, oh, no, the man's dead. You're calling now. That's gay. That's when people can tell the truth. I'm always a couple of days behind watching on the show because I've got.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's 100% right. I think that's 100% right, and thank God for George Santos. So again. in something that you should remember if you don't know the history about Tim Pool. I happen to know the history about Tim Pool. He is from Chicago, and he actually originally kind of became Tim Pool. Tim Pool the Tool is what I call him, because he started in Occupy Wall Street. And I remember used to go sit outside the Board of Trade, one of our, trading centers here in Chicago, very significant um, commodities trading. And I know this because my father was a trader at the Board of Trade. But that's how Tim Pool. So this is a former lib, supposedly, who's now supposedly coming over to the conservative side. Again, I don't feel that he's he's not the first guy that I'm going to go to, and he doesn't like Candace Owens. So he's going to come out, against Candace Owens. And Candace Owens also took a swipe at Tim Pool. But, if you're about Charlie Kirk and you're on Charlie Kirk's side, you can't allow somebody to, you don't speak of the dead that way. And saying that Charlie Kirk was gay, that's destructive and that's terrible. And thank God for George Santos. And for the record, I like George Santos a lot. I thought he was just awesome. We got 17 in the chat. Awesome. Woo! Having fun this is my third live. And so anyway, like and subscribe. You can even join and be a member if you want, because I want this channel to grow and we're going to have more fun with it. But anyway, that's kind of a little bit of a takedown, just a forewarning. Just be ready with who and how you are sourcing these stories. Now, under the umbrella of Tim Pool, and we're going to go to what happened last night, because Tim Pool did report that he was gunshots outside his home. He lives in West Virginia, and one of my favorite creators, and I'm going to give a shout out to Jesse on Fire. He's hilarious. He covers a lot of this Candace Owens stuff. I'm going to share with you what he covered, and it has to do with Tim Pool. So let's bounce over to that. No, that's Barron. We're going to get to Barron in a minute. Okay, so this is Jesse on Fire. Hilarious. I love watching Jesse on Fire. Jesse on Fire's approach is he just kind of talks about the story. He's very interested in the story. He talks about the story, and then he live reacts to it. And I literally have been watching him, and in my living room, literally laughing out loud at Jesse on Fire. But this is what he was talking about last night. And I think it's kind of important what he's saying here. Okay, he just did a commercial. Okay, let her rip.
Was hurt. This has to stop. It's never acceptable. Okay, so that's the first thing that I saw. And then here's the actual post from Tim Pool. Let's reframe that a little. So he says, last night a vehicle approached our property and opened fire. No one was hurt. Our security team is reviewing the incident and will be relaying the report to appropriate law enforcement. This is the price we pay for speaking out against evil. So that right there is that's such a weird sentence. Okay, that's such a weird sentence because
100% Jesse on Fire. I totally agree. I sort of thought that. And by the way, Freedom Anon 17, thanks for coming in the chat. Welcome. Where are you coming from? Everybody, I want to know, we got the whole world here. We're on a global stage here. I love it. But yeah, I 100% Jesse on Fire. I totally agreed with that. And I thought, somebody who's going to talk about God. Charlie Kirk will talk about God, right? And it's appropriate. And when it came out of Charlie Kirk's mouth, or any of the guys at TPUSA, they were Christian-centered and they had an agenda, obviously. But Tim Pool doesn't strike me that way. And yeah, he probably was a full-blown Marxist. They're all over Chicago. I'm telling you that right now. I live here. And Chicago is in terms of radicalized, it's worse than I've ever seen it. It's truly it's a communist city. It's become a communist city. But anyway, so that's under the Tim Pool umbrella. If you want to listen to some stories and have fun and really just a great creator, Jesse on Fire. I really enjoy him a lot, but he has done some really good reporting on a lot of this Candace Owens story. So go back and check out Jesse on Fire. But that's kind of the Tim Pool umbrella. Now, as we keep going forward, we got 20 in the chat. Awesome. As we keep going forward, there's another one. It's another guy that I really love. His name is Paramount Tactical. I'm going to bounce over to his channel right now. And again, if you guys want good sources, I fully endorse. I think his name is, what is his full name? I don't know. Maybe Glenn or something. But anyway, the guy's a straight shooter. He's fact-based. He's analytical. I think he's a former, I don't know if he's a Green Beret or he was a Navy SEAL, but he's got a military background. So he's going to come at it from that standpoint. I've been watching him for a while since this Charlie Kirk story took off. And he actually went live to University UVU and did a whole thing. He did it with another creator called Stephen Gardner, who's a pretty good creator. And, you know, he just is like, hey, you know, Candace is putting us in danger and she's going after these TPUSA people. And so he's very solid. I'm going to play a little bit of Paramount Tactical. Ready? Let her rip. Let her roll.
Fictitious narrative. And at the end of this, I'm going to talk about the real world impacts, the negative, destructive impact that this is having on our society, on political discussion, and so much more. But let's get into some of these examples of real evidence that she is making serious efforts to deceive everybody out there. All right, so this first example is from episode 244. She's talking about why she believes that the text messages from Tyler to Lance Twiggs, among other people, are basically fabricated. And what she talks about is the fact that because there's the word vehicle in these text messages.
All right, so we'll stop there for a second. I like what this clip is. I'm going to let it rip in a minute, but as if it makes any sense at all. How do you get from what Candace is saying about the text messages from Tyler Robinson, who is the perp and the killer of Charlie Kirk, allegedly, obviously hasn't gone to court yet. You can't get to where Candace got from what the text messages say, even if her train of thinking is correct. But let him keep going.
Messages. That's not a word that any normal American, any teenager would actually use. And then she provides proof of that with a video.
By the way, I'm sure you caught this, but there's old footage of Tyler Robinson that is now circulating from a car accident that he had. And during the discussion with the officer that showed up, Tyler certainly refers to it as his car, not his vehicle, because that's how most Americans,
it's a weak argument.
English speakers refer to a car unless they're in the military or on the police force. So here is 2022 police body cam footage, in case you missed that, of Tyler making a crash report. Take a listen.
Your mom's on her way? Yeah, she's gonna be a minute. She's gonna shuttle over from where she's at to her car and then drive over. Gotcha.
His mother was gonna shuttle over from her car? Interesting. There's more, of course.
So stupid.
More, but she didn't show it to you. That video clip is a little over 3 minutes. And she pulled out one little piece where he says car. And that is proof. And by the way, who the heck says shuttle over to her car?
It's gonna be a minute. She's gonna shuttle over from where she's at to her car.
This kid obviously kind of speaks in ways that I don't think most of us are just familiar with. But just a few seconds later, in that exact same video clip, here's what happens.
There's a vehicle in the lane between lanes. There's a vehicle in the lane between.
Okay, so he clearly uses the word vehicle, but even so, and by the way, I love the chat. The chat is popping. People got Candace Owens derangement syndrome. This is Lorda Catraz 000. Hey, thanks for joining. Truth Only 777-J. Our country's CIA always eliminating those who rise up with a following whom the CIA can't control. People like Kennedy and Martin Luther King. Yeah, I mean, and Tyler Yeah, Lorda, it's probably right. He probably does. He probably is autistic. I do think that that's probably true. But again, tell me what you think in the chat, because I don't get to I don't understand. And that's what Candace has been doing. She's been talking a lot about like different storylines, but I don't connect the dots. She never really actually delivers any proof. Hey, L Squared News, thanks for joining. Welcome. Where are you from? She never connects the dots for me. So even if it is a little bit strange that he uses the word vehicle, he's probably just a strange guy. Maybe he's just a strange guy. There are some quirky people. In a minute, I'm going to share something else with you from another creator that I think, again, I don't think is valid. And I want your guys' opinion on some stories that he's sort of his angle, and he's fully in the Candace camp. So we're going to examine that. But I mean, again, Candace has talked about, and I've been watching her show, and she is interesting and she's entertaining to watch. But the question we have to ask ourselves is, at this juncture, how much damage is that doing, A, to Charlie, B, to, Trump doesn't win, the right doesn't, we don't keep the wolves at bay for 2026 and 2028 without Turning Point USA. Outside of Trump, which is why I think Charlie was eliminated, is they had to, the opposing forces could not afford, because he was becoming so effective and so powerful. Okay. But Candace has talked about Egyptian planes. The other night, she was talking about a bunch of people wearing maroon T-shirts, and that they're all military men. And okay, fine. But I mean, again, connect the dots for me. I still don't understand who killed him and what the backstory is, or what we're being, I'm not, you're just not, it's not landing for me. Okay. I certainly have a lot of the same questions Candace has, and I just wish people would answer some of these questions to clear some of this up. I completely agree. For the record, as we're like popping on this live chat, everybody, this live stream, I do believe that we're not being told the whole story. There's absolutely that element going on. If you remember the Seth Rich story from I think it was like 2016. And that kid, remember Seth Rich? Does anybody in the audience remember Seth Rich? We were never told the full story about that. And I mean, that's something that Paramount Tactical kind of covers in his video. I'm not going to like go through his entire video, but he does talk about the fact that, when it's right to question the government, we question the government. Absolutely. And a lot of people have lost trust in the government for a lot of reasons. Don't some places have shuttle buses to where you park? Yeah, good point. Sometimes you can't shuttle on over. I mean, again, you're running away with this. I mean, people are running. The good thing about all of this is there's conversation she believes in her story, and sometimes the conspiracies. Yeah, I mean, William Coyle, absolutely 100% true. I think if a girl asking a question is damaging people, they aren't very strong in the first place. You mean the people that are being damaged? Well, okay. I mean, that is a point of view, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know of any particular story of the Turning Point USA guys. And again, I do call them TPUSA for fun. I got that from my cousin. We always have nicknames for things. TPUSA. Anyway, I don't know of any individual story of Blake Neff or Andrew Colvett or any of those guys. I don't have any knowledge of that, but I can fairly see the damage. There is another tweet, and I can pull it up on X, that, Turning Point USA used to be the #1 podcast, and in like the space of 2 days. So they fell to 94, in the top podcasts in the, I think, world, or maybe the country. I'm not sure of the measurement, but they fell obviously when Charlie was alive. And a lot of that is to be expected. From 94 to 110 in just a couple of days. And we cannot afford the civil war on the right. We can't afford it. She has no evidence. She just makes up nonsense every day. first thing she said was Israel killed him. Then she said there's planes following around Erica. Yeah, I know. I mean, noise like 120, 123. That's where I've landed on this. And if you guys are just joining the chat, I am landed on, I really do think, I mean, what is her motivation for this? She's got the #1 show in the world. And actually, I can pull it back up on PBD's, because he did this. In fact, I'm going to pull that back up right now just to share with everybody because I bookmarked it. PBD. Let me go to all my bookmarks. Can't really see very well. Got to get better at this. Bear with me. Where was the PBD pod? He did a poll. I'm just going to go here. I'm going to go at home. Okay. Sorry, guys, keep talking when I'm doing this, and I apologize for the little lull here. PBD podcast. So he just did this the other day. Poll after his show. This is 2 days ago. Whose side are you on in the Turning Point USA versus Candace Owens web war? 37,000 votes. Candace Owens, 69%. Turning Point USA. I will say this. I don't necessarily agree that Turning Point has handled everything since Charlie left us. Maybe could have been handled a little bit better. And this should happen between her, TPUSA and Candace. This should happen. Hi, I'm in Arizona. Okay, William, but I also try to keep an open mind and love CG. Yeah, that's great. So you're in Arizona. That's totally awesome. Utah, I love that there is conversation and not a lot of fighting. Oh, good. Yeah, I'm glad too. I mean, this is supposed to be, I wanted to have a little fun. I'm interested in this a lot. Traditionally on my channel, I've been covering a lot of corporate America, a lot of layoffs and things like that. But that's not the only thing I'm interested in. I'm rabidly interested in our country. I'm interested in, I was on Charlie Kirk's show once, just a caller. I mean, not a big deal. He was taking calls and I called in. Charlie Kirk's from Arlington Heights, which is a suburb of Chicago. And I'm from Chicago. And I'm just, really, like I said, I don't really feel that we're being told the entire story. But I don't think that Candace, she doesn't make any sense to me. So noise in the chat, just a couple of chats ago, I agree with you. Like I said, I've been watching this every night for like 3 weeks. I've been watching her show. And she went from Israel. Then this, French. The other day it was Pierre Dupont. Then it was like these guys wearing maroon T-shirts. Oh, yeah, there's something else that Paramount Tactical covered in his video about the fact that she got this supposed threat on her life and she reported it to the White House. Well, you know what? That's not exactly the truth. She texted somebody at the White House. Now, I ask all of you guys in the chat, is that the same thing as official report to the White House? If you're that worried about your life and your family, would you just send a text message to somebody you know? Hell no, would I be that irresponsible? Hell no, I would not be that irresponsible. That's insane to think, so that's kind of the stuff that she's spinning, in my opinion. Let's look in the chat. 2015 interview, Trump said Epstein Island a cesspool and Hillary could be in trouble after the CIA, FBI, etc., to try and prevent Trump from being president. They knew he'd open the files. I mean, that's very possible. Truth only 777. And I'm probably going to say something a little bit controversial here. I don't really care that much about the Epstein files, to be honest with you. I never really did. I mean, we kind of know what we know, right? What I do care about is people being held accountable. What I do care about is H-1B visas. What I do care about is, because I'm in tech, all the things that are happening with AI and the tech bros and taking over and profiting from. I mean, Elon Musk wants, and he has done a lot, like with X and all of that stuff. Those are the things that I care about. But today we're on Candace, and anyway, so I want to move to the next thing. And guys, if there's, let her rip, answer any questions, or I'm happy to answer questions. I want to move to this next guy. I've been watching a lot of his coverage as well. His name is @RealBaron Podcast. To Jesse on Fire, like I said, I give a shout out to Jesse. I like Jesse. Where are you, Baron? Okay, so this guy his name is Baron Coleman. Does his podcast. He is firmly in the Candace Owens camp. And again, I'm going to play a little bit about a theory that he has against Mikey McCoy. And you tell me, because I don't get to where he gets to based on this Mikey McCoy thing. I'm going to let this rip.
Pull up a picture here from Charles McClintock Wilson. Give me just a second to find it.
Okay, wait, I got to go back for a minute here. Okay.
It's haughty. Just wait till you see this. You're not going to recognize this Rob McCoy.
Okay, hold on. Sorry, I'm screwing this up. Live streams are hard, guys. Bear with me. Oh, here we go. It's about Mikey McCoy wearing a backpack on the day that Charlie was shot.
Charles McClintock Wilson. Pull up a picture here from Charles McClintock Wilson. Give me just a second to find it.
See, live streams are hard. He was doing a live, so bear with me. And I thought I had it teed up. Oh, the joys of technology.
Oh, boy. Guys, bear with me. I should have
See,
had this one
he's having the same problem I'm having.
Mikey entering the arena.
Okay, here we go. Let her rip. He's wearing a backpack. This is his point.
And I want to show you the backpack. Where is the backpack? Here we go. There they go. All right. We've got Charlie and his team coming in. I'll pull these up and make it big here in just a second. We've got Charlie and his team coming in. Everybody looks the same except one. One of these things is not like the other. One of the participants coming in has a large backpack. This is Charles McClintock.
Okay.
Wilson. I did not take these photos.
Do you guys get?
You see the large backpack there, and it's buttoned on. Butch Hibbs doesn't have a backpack. Charlie doesn't have a backpack. Dan Flood doesn't have a backpack. But he has a backpack. Mikey McCoy. That's Mikey McCoy in the backpack. Mikey has a backpack. Nobody else has a backpack. Mikey has a backpack.
All right, we'll stop it there. So basically, he in some way is insinuating, and I watched this live stream. This guy live streams for like 3 hours at a time. And I actually hope to get there because I want to have a lot of fun and grow this audience. So again, if you're new, thanks for joining. Hi, D.E. Washington. We the people know Biden was absent in all USA business during, etc. kept him. Yeah, well, it's like seriously, it was the beginning of, I think, Obama. And again, Chicago. I'll tell you something. I know a lot of people in Chicago, in the community, and he is not as well liked. It's kind of, but neither is Michelle. And I know a lot of people from Hyde Park, and he lived in Kenwood. That's where they lived. He didn't have the kind of popularity that the mainstream media going back to 2008. I mean, yeah, at the time, 2012, that they would have liked us to believe. I'll tell you that, being a Chicago person. So D.E. Washington, I'm with you. Anyway, so back to Barron. Baron Coleman. I just don't get there. I don't get the. So he goes on in the part of his video talking about the fact that Mikey McCoy was wearing a backpack and it was hot that day. And he extrapolated it out to say that Mikey McCoy, because I won't go so far as to say that he was accusing Mikey McCoy, but he was inferring that Mikey McCoy, as is Candace, and Barron is firmly in Candace's camp, okay, that Mikey McCoy had something to do with and had foreknowledge of this whole assassination of or murder of Charlie, right? Okay. Because he had a backpack and he knew he wasn't going to be, he arrived at the UVU with Charlie. And there is videotape of Mikey McCoy being in the back seat and like kind of on their way to UVU, you know, before all of this happened, all of this went down. That he knew he was not going to be returning in that car because, again, Charlie's murdered, shot on live stream. Mikey McCoy knew this and therefore had a backpack because he had a change of clothes. And there's some other evidence to say that Mikey McCoy changed his clothes that day. Okay. I mean, I think that's pretty heavy. I think that's that is not a valid place. I don't get from A to B because Mikey McCoy had a backpack. There could be a million reasons why he had a backpack. Now, what I do think is a little bit strange about the whole date, I think this is where a lot of this stuff maybe is not being handled like as optimally as we would like. But why wasn't there an EMS on site that day? Why did they put Charlie into the back of an SUV? I think that's a little strange. Okay. It's just a little off to me. There are things that are off with this story. There's no question about it. What he's assuming is the deal with one guy having, truth only. Yeah, love your question. He's assuming, and he's making a leap, which I think is a very big leap, that Mikey McCoy knew he was not going to be back in that SUV because he knew that Charlie was going to be shot at and obviously eventually killed, and that Mikey McCoy would need a change of clothes. And that it was very, very hot that day in Utah, and it was like 95 degrees. And who walks around with a backpack at 95 degrees? I mean, again, that's what he was assuming he was getting from A to a place where I don't get A to B. I don't get there. And so, again, was everything handled the way it should have been handled? We got 26 in the chat. Hi, everybody. Happy Sunday. So those are my things. Just to recap, and I wear a backpack every day, and I have a change of clothes in case of tears, in case of accidents. Yeah, I mean, I think that's totally normal. I mean, there could be a million reasons. Maybe he had, maybe he had medication that he needed to administer to himself or something. I mean, I take injections, not all the time, and I don't have to bring it around, but there could be a million reasons why someone's carrying a backpack. Maybe he had extra camera equipment, extra battery packs or something like that. I don't know. Maybe Charlie asked him to. How does he know? He has no way of knowing anything like this. So I think that's crazy. But the whole reason I wanted to do this podcast or this live stream today is because, again, I'll recap and start where go back to where I started, which was the Tower of Babel. This sounds like the Tower of Babel. When people say you're babbling, well, it comes from somewhere. The Tower of Babel is from the book of Genesis. And, I did have to look that up and that kind of, into my history, but it's confusion. It's just so confusion. And there's just so much going on in the media, and there's so many agendas and backstories. I didn't even cover half of it. I've got a lot more because I know these media people very, very well, and I study them very, very well, and I vet them very, very well. So Baron Coleman, while I think he has an interesting show and he's got a big audience, he's definitely pro Candace. He was calling everybody at TPUSA on his show last night, basically a bunch of beta males. And he calls himself a Catholic and a Christian. And so I don't know, is that really like the right thing to do? I don't know. I'm kind of calling foul on that. I think that's, because it's too important. Now, the one thing, Tim Pool, and I could bounce back to it if you guys, Democrats got Charlie killed. Hey, Danny Carradare 315, welcome, 3015, welcome. Where's everybody from? We can't afford, this is one of the things that Tim Pool was saying earlier, is that, and Candace did sort of mock him in one of her shows earlier this week, was that we can't afford to lose the midterms and then lose in 2028. And you know what? We can't. And Trump is not president without Turning Point USA. 100%. And I actually think that what you're seeing with some stumbles lately, I'm 65 and I've gotten older. I've learned that society relies less on facts and more on assumption. Yeah, that's right. Oh, you're from California. Yeah, another blue state. I'm in a blue state. I can sympathize. Yeah, people do. They rely a lot on assumptions. Let me just finish my thought on the midterms and Turning Point USA. And I think that we are severely, if you're talking about the people that killed Charlie, wanted to damage the right, I think that we have been wounded with the loss of Charlie. No question about it. I think there's the Trump administration is stumbling a little bit on their messaging. I think there's a lot of really good things happening with the Trump administration, and he is accomplishing a lot of things, but there's been some messaging. And if Charlie was alive right now, I think that he was just a really good conduit for that. And he was a really good conduit to go to the Trump administration and say, hey, you're losing the young people here and you're losing the independents. So that is something. Going back to Truth Only 777, people relying less on facts and more on assumptions. Yeah. So I'll give you an example. Just yesterday in Twitter, I was, I think it was the Charlie Kirk. Somebody was talking about Charlie. Oh, no, it was MTG. And I'm probably going to do a live stream on MTG. You guys like and subscribe, maybe become a member of my channel. If you got any value out of this today, I think that'd be great. I really would like to grow. But MTG. And so there's some back and forth about MTG. And somebody in this back and forth Twitter post had said that, Bannon, the Bannon crew, this crew and that crew. And she was kind of pro MTG. And I had to correct her. And I said, well, first of all, you may know this or not know this, but MTG and Bannon had a huge fallout in 2022. And it was over MTG's support of Kevin McCarthy when we were having the motion to vacate for the Speaker of the House. She didn't know that. So to your point, Truth Only 777, yeah, she assumed. And she said, wow, thank you so much. I did not know that. If you want to check out my video that I did about MTG, I did it a couple of weeks ago. I got a lot of people in the comments after I posted that video saying, thank you for sharing that information. It's very well done. John Keith Langlois. Sorry, I might have butchered your name. I apologize there. I'm in Louisiana. Once upon a time, the media was the truth tellers because they would be canceled if caught in a lie, or the journalists would be fired, and the audience is not. Yeah, 100%. We live in different times now. This is just unbelievable what we think is like appropriate. I don't know. I'm probably going to do another live stream on it, but I would everybody encourage you to check out Megyn Kelly and Michael Knowles' discussion yesterday. The topic of my next either long form video or maybe live stream is going to be, it's now what it is. It's brown supremacy. So there's a guy, can't remember what his name is, but he basically went on a tirade about how brown people won. And, you white people, you let us in, you lost the plot, we're taking over. And just very, very no. So to your point, John Keith, let me ask you this. if somebody said that, if a white person got on and said that, what in the hell? I mean, the whole world would be blowing up. This hardly got any coverage. A really interesting interview to watch is Charlie Kirk and Gavin Newsom. Oh, yeah, I did see that one, and it was interesting. It was very interesting. I think Charlie did a great job on that. Again, I wanted to do this video because I do spend, yeah, RIP Charlie Kirk, son of cool, absolutely mega dittos to you. But anyway, I do spend a lot of time, really, this is an interest of mine. All this different media. I want to build a media company after I get out of corporate America. I'm currently in tech, 55 years old. I talk a lot, some other things on my channel about layoffs and corporate America and AI and kind of all of that. But what I hope to do and what I think my true calling maybe should have been in the media to start with. So my thought process for doing this live stream today was I'm pretty well versed in a bunch of different influencers. I know the backstory on a lot of people because I've been doing deep dives for years on this. And so I thought I would share with the audience maybe my take oh, thank you, John. My take and some guidance on like, here's who's legit. Here's who's going to give you straight reporting. Somebody I trust, somebody that I have vetted and I feel is like, a good source. But here's who's got an agenda. Here's who's in Candace's camp. Like, Baron Coleman, I actually find his video is very interesting, but I think that, he's kind of spinning something and, he's just tearing down the Turning Point USA guys. And we need TPUSA, TPUSA, like I like to say for fun. Go Max. Yeah, I love it, John. Yeah, go Max. Exactly. You're right. Go Max. Which you probably are watching, Candace. She did say that, and Charlie did say that, and Charlie did say that to Tucker. So yeah, I can recall all of those things. He did say, I want to go Max too, but we need this because if Gavin Newsom wins in 2028 or Pritzker, we like to call him Pricker in my family, which I don't even know if I'm allowed to say that on YouTube. Hope I don't get in trouble. But anyway, you're going to go back to lockdowns. You're going to go back to people getting arrested, people being thrown in jail. I just don't think we're kidding around. New scum. Yeah, exactly right. Totally. And so we need to win and we need Trump to win. And whether you're like Trump, you don't like Trump or what have you, he is trying, he's playing the long game with the tariffs. I do believe Trump, why would he do any of this? He was a billionaire. He doesn't need this money. He doesn't need this fame. Why would he want to go through all of this just to be the president? Old scum. Yeah, old scum, to be honest. TPUSA is losing its footing with Erica at the wheel. She is giving cringe vibes big time. I don't disagree with that. And I hate to say it, but I don't she doesn't sit like she is. And I don't like it. And they need to reset. I actually think that they need to maybe PBD should probably get involved with that in some way. And maybe join forces with PBD's media network or maybe Megan Kelly. She started a walk away Dem. So you're like Brandon Strucker, right? A walk away. No, this is truth only 777. I'm a walk away Dem and notice my party refuses facts, purposely stands on assumption when it comes to Trump. Facts, so-called racist Trump just brokered peace between. Yeah, they don't want to hear it. I don't have asked myself many, many times. And to be honest, I kind of boom it up with people. And I can get into a pretty good debate. That's the old fighting Irish in me. And I can go for the jugular. But we got to get past that because I think there's more people in the middle than there are on either extreme. Not in Chicago, though. I will tell you, a lot of people, extremists here in Chicago. It's actually very scary. John Keith, okay, both administrations have failed us. They both have overcorrected. First Trump with his wall, then Dems with open borders. Now Trump kidnapping brown people. Enough is enough. I don't know. I mean, and I'm just gonna. I don't know that he's kidnapping brown people. I am in Chicago. I'll tell you, the black and brown people here in Chicago are very, very much in support of ICE being here. Is it 100% perfect? No, of course not. It's probably not. We don't want open borders, and we don't want people being ripped from their families. Well, I guess maybe you and I have a difference of opinion on that. I mean, I think that it's very, very important to reset. And if you do, you have broken the law if you come here illegally. And what about, let me ask you a question, and this is honestly in the spirit of Charlie, just a discussion. What about all the people who came here legally, and are waiting in line and spent, thousands and thousands of dollars to go through our immigration process correctly? Is it really fair to them? And the Trump administration, and again, I don't think anyone's being ripped from their families. And two things and again, John, this is a discussion, just my point of view, and maybe share some things. First of all, in Chicago, and I happen to know that this is true, the Pritzker administration and the Johnson administration, the way they're doing it, only rich, privileged people can come legally. Okay, that might not be wrong. People with money get better outcomes in life. There's absolutely no question about that. None at all. And I did another video on that on my channel about essentially, it's what's called the K-shaped economy. But let me finish I want to address what you're talking about, John. So in Chicago, the cops and the people okay. Well, let me just finish my thought. The cops and Cook County Jail and are not allowed to cooperate with ICE officials. They're absolutely not allowed to cooperate. So in Chicago, what the ICE administration wants to do, and Tom Homan wants to do, is he wants to go directly into the prisons where the criminals and the most, what everybody wants out of this country is illegal aliens who have criminal records and are dangerous. Those should be the first ones out. So I think we all agree on that. But we have administrations like the Brandon Johnson administration and the Pritzker administration here in places like Illinois, where they will not let them go into the jails. So the ICE agents are having to go to the second circle or the outer circle and just get just regular illegal aliens who should not be here. Now, everybody really wants all of the illegals out. The Trump administration is allowing people who either leave and deport voluntarily or, a way back in. So they are doing that. So that is what's actually happening. But again, that's the point of this whole live stream, is that it's the babble, confusing. The media, somebody earlier in the chat talked about the media doesn't want to. Also, people have no protection. Think of that woman that are being abused because, okay, but there's also, are you aware of the woman that was set on fire on the Chicago train? Are you aware of the woman that was set on fire in New York City about last year and burned alive in front of, and the illegal alien was fanning the flames to have her burn more? Are you aware of that, John? So yeah, there are women being abused. They can't call police for help. That's why the police have to be disparate entities. Virgil, Nigel, yes, leeches. Yes, get them out of here. That's what I think. That's what I agree with. John, we're going to have it's what I call a discussion. Immigrants are great, but to allow unvetted immigrants in the millions to just pour in is treasonous on Biden's part. Now, Trump has a huge problem to deal with, and he's doing his best. I totally agree. Who let them in this country? It was Biden. Absolutely 100%, Virgil. 100%. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of what's happening right now. When all the illegals are gone, it is going to be another overcorrection. Yeah, I don't agree. I don't agree with that. John, something that you may or may not know, but the United States shut down all immigration in 1920, and it was shut down, and nobody was allowed to immigrate to this country in 1920, and it was shut down to 1960. Okay. We are full. We don't need any more people really at all. End of story. And I'm somebody that is in tech. When illegals are gone, it is going to be another No, I completely disagree. So I am a person who's in tech. A lot of people are losing their jobs in tech, and we talk about it just like we had open borders in our country. We have open borders in tech companies where, I mean, there's to the point where there's almost a language barrier. There's so many people from India, and they form, I mean, and this is something I live. They kind of form cliques within themselves. And I'm a white female. So and I work for big companies and, all that kind of stuff. And I mean, this is not I need to be careful because it's just what I'm seeing. So our American companies, there's not a lot of, it's just less and less Americans work at American companies. It's just the truth. We don't have an Ellis Island. Yeah, I mean, anyway, so that kind of is what is happening. Anyway, okay, I've been streaming for an hour. Did you guys subscribe? I hope you guys subscribed. I hope you liked this, and maybe you even joined and became a member. I'm, it's like $3 a month, I think. I would love that. And then we're going to do You're Wrong, They're Needed for Agriculture. Right now, there are animals suffering because the illegals were deported, and there is, I mean, look, it's not, I mean, that's a valid point. Valid. But there were programs for that where there were seasonal workers and the farmers would, and now I know this, my father was a grain trader. We used to go visit the farms. He traded corn and soybean, and they had people that would come in seasonally on seasonal passes. I can't remember what it was called, whether they were, I don't think they were green cards or whatever it was, but there were programs. Tech jobs are going to illegal immigrants. Well, through the H-1B visa scam program, that is correct, John. Yes, and they are being picked up. Listen, I mean, I think we have a difference of opinion on this. But what's happening, to your point on the tech jobs, the bottom line is that it is about cheap labor, and they're trying to do it legally. And there are American workers that have the tech skills that a lot of these companies, I did a video on go check out my video on Accenture. Accenture laid off, I don't know, how many people was it? 15%, a lot of people back in like October or September. And they laid off 25,000 people. But then 25,000 Americans under the guise of they don't know how to learn AI. Okay, but what really happened was they laid off 25,000, a lot of Americans, but then they also applied for 25,000 H-1B visas because they don't want to pay that money. Now, if you don't understand what's going on with the tech workers and H-1B visas, it's actually kind of a bad deal for them too, because they're completely dependent on the H-1B visas to be in this country, which means that the employers can abuse those people too that come over here and make them work ungodly hours, pay them nothing. I know what the rates are because I talk to companies about, hey, you want a resource from India that we're going to source out our delivery center in India? It's going to cost you $15 an hour. Okay. You want somebody from the Philippines, it'll cost you $11 an hour or whatever skill level. But I'm telling you, I know this and I see this and I live this and I'm in the game. And so the H-1B visas are not fair to the American worker because we have the talent here. We do. And the second thing is it's not fair to the people that are coming over because they're over a barrel with the employer. And everything depends on their H-1B visas. So that's kind of the people they are deporting are not the tech people. The people being picked up are low-hanging fruit. Well, anyway. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it for today unless you have any last comments. Oh, I should be showing these on stage. I forgot. Oh, I was trying to do that. Why didn't I do that? Oh, stupid. Okay. Can you guys all see the comments now? Hey, someone make another comment, would you? Because I want to see if it bounces across the stage. Come on, John. I know you got another comeback for me. I knew. Okay. So is everybody seeing that? I hope so. Hope the stuff is popping up the way. Your point is moot. I know a lot about it. And before they had the same rights as citizens, but now if they have overstayed their visa, then they can be abused because they can't seek help. People with H-1B visas are legal. Well, you know what? Maybe we'll do another live stream on it. I think it's a scam. We just simply don't need to import the talent. We have the talent here and the employers are doing it. My point isn't moot. We are doing it because they don't want to pay America first. They don't want to pay America, although they want to reap the benefits of being an American country and all of that. So that's all kind of what's happening. But it's fun to kind of spar back and forth, John. Anyway, I am going to say thank you to everybody. We're going to let, how about caring about America? So I'm with you, Truth. That had nothing with, that had nothing to do with deporting illegals. I mean, listen, John, you're, I don't know. I mean, it sounds like you're pro-immigrant. I'll be honest. I think we just don't need to have any immigration at all in this country for a little while. Let's get a handle on who's in the country now. And then we can sort of figure it out and understand like what talents. Yeah, H-1B visa is legal. It is legal, but it's a little bit of a scam. So you're correct. You're correct. It is legal. Oh, hey, Jamie. Hey, did you know Jamie? Hey, my Jamie baby's here. Jamie, I wanted to tell you that I've been calling it TPUSA. This whole live stream, TPUSA. Anyway, so I'm having a really good live stream today. My buddy Jamie joined. Welcome, Jamie. Master says deport all mouse LLMs. What is that? Limbs? Yeah. I don't know. AI, that's like a whole nother thing. That's another reason why I think that, we need to, this narrative that's going on and the civil war that's going on and the Tower of Babel, and the, scrambling of, sowing all this confusion that a lot of people in the media are doing is not helpful to us. We have AI happening. What kind of threat is AI to people overall? And that's another topic of discussion. But I think for this whole deal with Candace and this whole deal with, why do you think Bitcoin is going down and stocks are quick to follow the millions are being deported and are also going to take their investments with them? Are you crazy? John, I'm sorry, that's just way off. But the people that are being deported do not have investments. They are not. I mean, look at all the Somalis. Now, there's the ones like Ilhan Omar. These people are, I'm telling you this right now, and I know this for a fact because I'm in Chicago. They are putting a strain on the ER emergency rooms here in Chicago. They're putting strain on our public schools here in Chicago. That's absolutely not. They do not have investments. They are costing us our resources, our tax dollars. We can't function as a city. And they're not taking, besides, if you leave, I mean, just because you leave the country and you're being deported, I mean, again, I don't think they have stock. I don't think we're talking about people who have a lot in stocks. The word must mean mouse or rat. Oh, okay, yeah. John, what was Biden's reason for opening the border? Do you think he was having mushy feelings for immigrants or looking for voters to stay in power? LOL, Jamie. Yes, they do. They pay into taxes, but they can't use the benefits. John, you're simply wrong. You're just absolutely simply 100% wrong on that. Now I'm so glad that you're here and you're in the chat because this is a lively discussion and it's a lot of fun, but they absolutely use the benefits. They absolutely use the benefits. Have you seen any of the Snap videos of people talking, all the food, all the money that they're getting? Listen, let me tell you something. My sister, she works 2 jobs. She works 7 days a week. She's barely making it. Go watch my video on the Accenture layoff. I talked about a K-shaped economy. Actually, it was a different video that I did talking about the fact that I think CEOs in America are in grave sin, and that there's people that you're either uber wealthy or you are not making it, and you're working 7 days a week, and you are trying to figure out how to buy meat, or to buy meat is a privilege. It's the holidays. We're going to splurge a little bit and maybe, serve some meat for Christmas Eve dinner. You're just not right about that, John. They are taking the benefits. They absolutely are. I know, because I know illegals and they can't draw any benefits. Okay, I know illegals too. Candace Owens already said she's not showing up, LOL, after saying yeah, no, you're right, Jimmy Kirk. Absolutely. Then go drive Uber and be uber wealthy. Hey, listen, I'm all for people making money. 2 out of 3 billionaires that donated money to politicians donated to Kamala and Joe Biden. You go get them, Jimmy. That is true. That's right. The Democrats have become the party of the elite and the party of the wealthy. And I've said it for years. We've got Democrats in my family. They're the MAGA party, or America First party, or Trump. You know what Trump is? And everybody that came together with MAGA and with, Trump voters and things like that are the old Jack Kennedy Democrats, blue dog Democrats. That's who voted for it. You're 100% right, Jimmy Kirk. And illegals getting benefits, that is a lie. No, it's not a lie, John. It's not. I know it's not. I mean, I'm glad you're here. This makes for lively discussion, but it's not a lie. Joey increased food prices by 23% and at the same time devalued the dollar by 18%. I think that's 100% true, Jimmy. And, Trump is being blamed for the economy. He's not going to be able to clean this up in like 9 months. Now, I do think that the messaging needs to they need to get a hold. And I would like to see some people arrested. Yeah. So there is that whole situation. But, John, I'm not lying. I'm really not lying. I appreciate your response. I love the engagement in the active discussion. I'm not lying. I'm just not lying. I mean, I know illegals too. My sister works at the hospital. We could talk about illegal aliens who are using the ER, they're using up those resources. In fact, I mean, there was a Standard Club in Chicago. Now I have Jamie. I don't know if you're still in the chat, but another friend of ours, we're going to call her P2. She's going on reconnaissance missions. And she goes, the Standard Club here in Chicago used to be a very high-end club for business people in the city of Chicago, very, very well regarded. Well, yeah, you know what? That actually was turned into housing for illegals. So they absolutely are getting the benefits. They're getting housing. They're getting, food. They're getting cell phones. They're getting checks. They're getting rental assistance. You're just not right. I'm not lying. I'm not lying. Anyway, we got 19 in the live chat. You guys, we've been going over an hour. I hope everybody joined it. We got 22. Somebody else joined. Who just joined and where are you from? We'll keep this going for immigrants, not only but stole billions of texts. Yeah, absolutely. Truth Only 777. I think I'm going to do a video on that whole Somali thing because it's outrageous. It's absolutely outrageous. And actually, if you think about what we've seen in the last 90 days from the government shutdown, all the SNAP benefits, how just absolutely the taxpayer, the American citizen taxpayer, is just absolutely being pillaged by all of these people coming into our country, taking our resources that we're all paying for. It's terrible. Somalian American economist said Somalians, 100,000 of them pay $67 million a year in taxes. That's approximately $700 a year. It costs more to educate. Yeah. Jimmy's rocking it. Jimmy's killing it today. Illegal immigrants get free health care through emergency Medicaid. Jimmy, you're on fire. Let her rip, Jimmy. Anyway, thank you. So we got the chat is down to 14. I think this was really successful. I'm delighted that everybody joined today. I hope you guys subscribed to my channel or became a member, and give me a thumbs up or a like or whatever if this was fun for you, and I'll do more of that. But with that, I'm going to say bye-bye, and we're going to live stream again soon. And thanks for everybody for joining my new family, and really had some fun. Ciao.